All right, people. So welcome to Jumbo IAS and welcome to UPSC Prelims Phoenix batch. In this batch, we revise the entire syllabus for UPSC Prelims examination, the entire syllabus, static as well as current affairs. Now, today we are going to resume our current affairs portion of this Phoenix batch. And as you already know, if you have been following this lecture series, if you're already enrolled in Phoenix batch, you know that we are continuing with international relations current affairs. And today is day 5 of international relations, right? So let's begin. Let's straight away dive into the lecture without further ado, because you're already familiar with the topics that we are going to cover. We have already provided you with the notes. Just revise those notes and then sit for this lecture, because we are going to revise those notes again through a set of 20 MCQs, right? All right, then let's begin. So international relations current affairs day 5, and our targets for today were India's bilateral relations, okay, with different countries. Okay, so let's straight away dive into or start with question number 1. With reference to CPEC 2.0, phase 2, relaunched in late 2025, consider the following statements. It marks a strategic shift from infrastructure construction to industrial integration and digital corridors. The number of approved special economic zones has been increased from 7 to 44 as of January 2026. Udan Pakistan framework specifically excludes environmental concerns to prioritize rapid industrialization. Now look, CPEC basically stands for China-Pakistan Economic Corridor, right? It's an economic corridor which starts from, let me mention the name first. Yeah, which starts from Kashgar in Xinjiang province of China. And this corridor ends with Gwadar, which is in Balochistan province of Pakistan, right? This is the economic corridor. Now, this economic corridor started way before the COVID-19 lockdown, but the work stopped during the COVID-19 lockdown. Now, it was recently relaunched, and the name for this project was called CPEC 2.0, phase 2. And in phase 2, the construction of corridor has taken a backseat, and the industries that would be connected with this corridor has taken the front seat. Okay, so it marks the strategic shift from infrastructure construction to industrial integration and digital corridors. Now, digital integration is also a part of this project. So this is correct. Now, around this industrial corridor, Pakistan is going to construct many special economic zones, which would be oriented towards export. So this is also correct. The number of SEZs have been increased from 7 to 44. Now, along with this CPEC 2.0, Pakistan again has launched a mission, a vision statement known as Udan Pakistan. It has 5 pillars or 5 aims. Export, e-Pakistan, which means digital integration, environment, energy and infrastructure, and equity. Okay, basically equity means people's empowerment through jobs and all. So these are the 5 pillars, also known as the 5 E's of Udan Pakistan. Okay, so this statement says that environment is not part of this 5E strategy or Udan Pakistan. It's not. It's the third E in this 5E. So this statement is false. The correct answer would come out to be A. Okay, next. The Malacca dilemma, a recurring theme in Chinese strategic planning, is addressed by CPEC through. Now look, if China wants to trade with West Asia or Europe, its ships has to cross from the South China Sea through the Malacca Strait into Bay of Bengal, Indian Ocean, Arabian Sea, and then it goes through Persian Gulf or Red Sea and then to Europe. Now, the Strait of Malacca in between Malaysia, Singapore, close to Malaysia, Singapore, well, the Strait of Malacca, let me write, Strait of Malacca is a choke point for China. China says that in case of a future conflict between India and China, well, India can significantly disrupt China's trade by just stopping or choking this narrow Strait of Malacca, and all of China's trade would get disrupted. So this is a big fear with China. So what has China done? So China has created an alternative route from Xinjiang province of China, bypassing the entire Indian Ocean, Arabian Sea, not Arabian Sea, Bay of Bengal. And from land route, it will transport goods into Xinjiang, from Xinjiang through CPEC. Through CPEC, it will land, the consignment would land at Gwadar in Pakistan, And from Gwadar, it enters into Arabian Sea, bypassing India and Southeast Asia completely. Okay, so this CPEC corridor that is why CPEC is extremely important for China as well, not just Pakistan. Why? Because it gets to bypass the Malacca dilemma. Clear? So a 3,000 kilometer land route from Gwadar to Kashgar, reducing journey by 9,000 kilometers. Earlier, through Strait of Malacca, the journey was 9,000 kilometers by sea. That would be completely solved by this. From Gwadar to Kashgar, it's just 3,000 kilometers of land route. So using this land route, you are going to bypass 9,000 kilometers of sea route. And that 9,000 kilometers of sea route is also vulnerable because you are entering Indian Ocean territory, okay, Bay of Bengal, which is India's sphere of influence. So they are reducing their dependence on Malacca. That is why CPEC is important. The answer is A, right? Next. Regarding India's counter strategies to CPEC and the Belt and Road Initiative, match the following. Chabahar Port, IMEC, India, Middle East, Europe Economic Corridor, necklace of diamonds. So India, because Pakistan is developing Gwadar, in Iran, India is developing Chabahar Port. Again, the purpose is that India cannot go to Central Asian countries. For going to Central Asian countries, it has to pass through Pakistan. Pakistan does not allow that transit facility. So India has to first go to West Asia and then from there to Central Asia. That's a long route. But if India lands directly at Chabahar, okay, then the thing is that if India lands directly at Chabahar, then it becomes a little easy. From Chabahar, Iran, India will straight away enter into Central Asia. So route to Central Asia bypassing Pakistan. So one is this. Then India Middle East Economic Corridor. Well, it was proposed during G20 summit. So yes. Sorry, this is 3. 1 is 3, 2 is 1. And necklace of diamonds. You must have heard about string of pearls. Well, string of pearls is a Chinese strategy of encircling India. In India's neighborhood, China is establishing various ports and defense facilities in Sri Lanka, Myanmar. So it is surrounding India. So India has replied. This is India's counter strategy, and India is developing bases, military bases in various other regions as well. Okay, close to China. So that is called necklace of diamonds. India has named it necklace of diamonds. So string of pearls is countered by necklace of diamonds. Counter encirclement via bases in Oman and Indonesia. So third is this 2. Okay, so this is the answer. So the answer would come out to be 1 is 3, 2 is 1, 3 is 2. The answer would be B. Okay, next. In April 2025, India placed Indus Water Treaty in abeyance. Which legal justification was cited for this move? Okay, so India must have given Indus Water Treaty is an kind of an international but bilateral treaty between India and Pakistan. Now India suspended that treaty. Yes, after Pahalgam terror attack. Now what was the internationally legal justification given by India? India cited Vienna Convention on laws of treaties. India says that Pakistan has breached trust with India by using militants to attack India, and that is why we are under no obligation to abide by the treaty between India and Pakistan. So using this Vienna Convention principle, India classified Pahalgam terror attack by Pakistan as a material breach, and thus India put Indus Water Treaty in abeyance. Okay, C. Next. Consider the following statements regarding current status of Indus Water Treaty. India has stopped sharing daily hydrological data and glacier melt into Pakistan. India rejected the supplemental award from the Court of Arbitration at Hague in Feb 2026. World Bank has successfully merged the neutral expert and Court of Arbitration process into a single body. Okay, now look. The thing is that, well, Indus Water Treaty, basically, India put it in abeyance. Under Indus Water Treaty, India had the obligation of sharing because India is upper riparian. Water flows from India to Pakistan, right? So India is under obligation to share the water data, how much water is flowing, how much glacier melted, so that Pakistan can prepare in advance in case there is a flood or drought, anything of that sort. Now India has stopped doing that. So yes, this is correct. Now, if there is any dispute between India and Pakistan under Indus Water Treaty, well, Article 9 gives a detailed dispute resolution mechanism. Okay, and it is a 3-stage process. First, the dispute would go to a permanent Indus Commission. If it is not resolved, then Permanent Indus Commission would be, well, people from both India and Pakistan would sit together and resolve the dispute mutually. If it is not resolved, then the matter would go to a neutral expert who through mediation would try to resolve this dispute. If the dispute is not getting resolved, then the matter would go to Permanent Court of Arbitration. Court of Arbitration. Okay. Now, the matter did go to Permanent Court of Arbitration, and Permanent Court of Arbitration gave that award. But the thing was, India rejected that award. Permanent Court of Arbitration said that India shouldn't suspend this treaty. India rejected that award because India said that you merged neutral and these two phases in one go. You should have gone to neutral expert first and then Permanent Court of Arbitration. So you have bypassed this process by merging it. So India did reject the supplement award. The World Bank has successfully merged the neutral expert and process into a single body. That hasn't been done. World Bank basically bypassed it. This is India's allegation. And it is not successful because India rejected this award. So this is false. The answer would come out to be B. Okay, you should remember this. Indus Water Treaty is a hot topic after Pahalgam terror attack. So question might arise in your prelims. Next. In retaliation, basically, Pakistan suspended Shimla Agreement. So the suspension of Shimla Agreement by Pakistan in 2025 has what significant legal implication? Now, Shimla Agreement was negotiated. It was basically a treaty between India and Pakistan after the 1971 war. We all know Pakistan lost this war, so an agreement was sought. Under this agreement, many things were negotiated. First, any dispute between India and Pakistan would be resolved bilaterally. Nobody would go to a third party. Okay, Pakistan won't go to a third party like you and India won't go there. Will be resolved bilaterally. This was Shimla Agreement. Second, well, because Jammu and Kashmir is a disputed territory, okay, so both sides claim Jammu and Kashmir for themselves. But the current positions of the armies, which is decided by line of control, LC, LOC. Well, this would be considered a ceasefire. This ceasefire line would be considered line of control and would be considered de facto border between India and Pakistan. So it is not the actual border, but as per Shimla Agreement, until the issue is resolved, LOC shall be considered as border. This was the thing. Now, Pakistan has suspended Shimla Agreement, which means the legal sanctity of LOC is under stress. Though it remains practically military boundary, practically militaries are on either side of this boundary, but legally speaking, this has lost the significance or lost the authority of being the de facto border. So this is now in doldrums. Okay, this is the consequence of suspension of Shimla Agreement. So the answer would come out to be B. Okay, next. India's claim over Sir Creek dispute is based on Thalweg principle. This principle implies, now remember, there are 3 territorial disputes between India and Pakistan. Okay, very big territorial disputes. First of all, it's the LOC Jammu and Kashmir. Second, very important, Siachen Glacier. And third is in Gujarat, between Gujarat and Sindh, province of Pakistan, is the Sir Creek. It is an estuary. Now, this dispute has arisen like all the other disputes because of British interventions. The Britishers, when they ruled India, the Indian subcontinent, India and Pakistan both, well, the division between Sindh and Bombay Presidency, because Gujarat back then was part of Bombay Presidency, was done through faulty maps. Okay, and this was the problem, Sir Creek. Now, Sindh went to Pakistan, and during British rule, this was a dispute between 2 provinces. But because Sindh went to Pakistan, this became an international dispute between 2 countries. Now, Sir Creek. Now, Sir Creek is an estuary that drains into Arabian Sea from Gujarat. Now, this is the estuary. Okay, this is the eastern bank, this is the western bank. Because of some faulty maps, Pakistan claims that the Britishers drew this map and they said that Sindh's boundary starts from eastern bank. This is where India is and this is where Pakistan is. So they claim the entire Sir Creek. Well, while India says that whenever there is a river in between the boundary, okay, whenever the boundary is created through a river or a water body, when water body is at the boundary, you follow the international principle of Thalweg, which says that the 2 countries of the 2 sides shall treat the midpoint of this as the boundary. So as per this, well, eastern bank and this water belongs to India but Pakistan claims this entire estuary belongs to them. This estuary is Sir Creek. You understand the dispute now? Okay. So Thalweg principle is midpoint of the navigable waters. So the boundary must lie in the mid channel of the navigable part of creek. This is Thalweg principle, which India follows. Pakistan is following some faulty drawing of maps by the British. Okay, that was Britishers' fault, but Pakistan is claiming it now. So India follows international principle, Pakistan is following the faulty British maps. So this is the dispute. This is Thalweg principle. Clear? Next.